Hello everyone, welcome back to Lynn's Homestead. On the previous video, it was a picture video. Showed the secondary injection pump. Now I wanted to kind of tell you what was happening with that. It's kind of weird situation. It started when we had a lot of rain and had a little frost and maybe a little bit of snow. And when I got out of work, now I normally park up against the wall with the front end down, kind of like on a hill. I came out, started up, engine lights on. I go, now what? I don't get many engine codes, and my truck's got, right now, 214,000 miles. It's been a very good truck, and I've hardly done really anything that had to do with the engine. So, I had this fixed. Little thing you plug into the OBD2, or is it 3? Well, whatever it is. I plugged it in, downloaded the app, and it came up a PO 411. And it talked about the flow was low. Well, I never messed with anything this new. So when I got home, I put my regular scanner on, and it came up same thing. So now I keep that scanner in my glove box in my truck just in case. So as I was looking it up on what it was, it's like, I remember seeing an EGR in this thing. And then it showed the flow comes from the air box, goes down to this EGR thing on the side of the engine, which is just under where the intake is for the air, you know. The other hoses, I'm not exactly sure where it goes. I'm taking a guess it goes to the other side of the engine. The other part is attached to the cylinder head. So I watched a few videos, and the guy shows how he changed it. So I didn't want to bore you with that type of video. So I went underneath, I lifted it up on a jack stand like he did. I pulled the hoses off. There's no water in there. There's nothing. And I'm going, well, I don't know what it can be. I checked the air filter. It didn't look that bad. You can see through it in the air, so it's fairly clean. I saw a little water down there. I don't know if water got in there and just evaporated. I don't know. I mean, it being cold outside, it's hard to tell. Now, I noticed my engine running a little rough. Okay. Well, it does have a lot of miles on, but it's starting to burn oil. So I go, all right. And then when I noticed the gas gauge going down a little bit more than usual, it's like, now I got a problem. So I talked to a mobile mechanic, just happens to work at my store, and he told me that if you can take the hoses off and start the engine up and hook up a vacuum, you might be able to get whatever's in there out. I did that. But I wanted to try an experiment, guys. I go, all right, if the front end is pointing down and it trips the code, which other way will I rotate it? Now, if it's nose up or passenger side up, it will not trip the code. But if the driver's side is lifted up and the nose is down, it trips the code. He told me that's that pump. There's something in there that's causing it to trip that sensor. Okay, so I went online at eBay. I'm not going to give you a link because, well, they sent me the wrong one. I should have took the old one out and looked at it, but you couldn't see because where it's at. It's right underneath the driver's seat on the, on the outside. So you can't really get to it. And it said it would fit my truck. So I got it. Today, after I did all my workout in the homestead, trying to get ready for winter, get the property ready for the snow that we're going to be blessed with soon. And pulled it out. Oh, God, this one looks different. Now, if you see the fitting that was in there, it was a 90 degree. Well, on the original, it just comes straight out, and then the elbow snaps on, being that one elbow. The new one has an elbow already on the end, so there's no way to connect. And no one, and I mean no one, in this town has this pump, the right one. They're telling me it's going to cost over $200 to get one just like I have, but it's not available at all. I'm sitting there and go, God, I got this $45 pump sitting on my kitchen table, and because of one fitting, I can't get it to work. It's like, God, it's like more money goes out than coming in. I owe a lot, guys. This stuff ain't free here. Ain't nothing in this country free. So, on the way home from town, after basically had my tail between my legs, I go, all right, I got a 90-degree fitting. It's got a barb on one end and a quick attach on the other end to fasten to the pump. So, okay, if I cut a 45 in that fitting, right down the center where it bends, you know 245s make a 90. So I found some epoxy for plastic outside in my barn. So I took the fitting out. I cut it with a hacksaw, cleaned it up with a knife, got it nice and clean. I brought that and the epoxy in. I mixed it up, and I also had this Gorilla duct tape. That's some strong shit, I tell you what. When I hit a deer several years ago, like the commercial, it actually held my front bumper and my headlight to the truck because nothing else would hold it. There was nothing there. There was a smash, crushed. I mean, you could probably build a car out of duct tape, strong as this stuff is. So I mixed the epoxy in the kitchen on an old envelope, and I smeared it all over the fitting, and I kind of held it together, cleaned it up around the edges a little bit. I pulled strips of that duct tape and I wrapped it around to hold it. And I did it twice again and made sure it held. And it will not come apart until you take it apart. In which this case, I don't care. If I ever find a fitting that will snap in on that pump, I can do that from laying on the ground, guys. It's no problem. So, anyways, I got it back together. I went out, put it on the bracket, and I went underneath the truck, and I connected it up. Now, there's no room underneath there, so I can't hardly show you how it bolts. There's 3 bolts that hold the pump to the bracket, and there's 3 big bolts that holds the bracket to the truck. You snap in a connector. When I went to hook up the hoses, one hose was too long. God help me. So I had to sit there and loosen up the hose clamp so I can shove the hose back. And this is the one that I had to change the fitting. So I got it in. Now the hose is hitting the transmission lines. Guys, I don't want to cut this because if I find a fitting that's going to fit this thing, I'm going to do it right. This is only a temporary fix for now. So I went ahead, took some more duct tape, and I wrapped it around the hoses to keep it away from the transmission lines, because you don't want to burn a hole through there, because God knows what those hoses cost if you can get them. That just means more duct tape, you know. But anyways, that's what I wanted to tell you about that past video. Music, I just pick whatever Google gives me. So, if you ever have a problem with a GM product, this is how I fixed it. All right. That's it for this video. You have an awesome day. God bless.